Welcome to the Raising the Standard Show. We're so glad you could join us today. My name is Dr. Gus Reyes, and I'm here replacing, just filling in for Dr. Andrea Ramirez. She was not able to be here with us, but we want you to know, Dr. Ramirez, wherever you are, that we're going to have a great show today, and we're going to praise God with all that we do. So we're thankful for you watching. We're happy that you can be with us. You're going to want to have your students close by, and maybe if you have your pastor, you might want to call him and ask him to come join us, because we're going to have a really super show today. With me is Pastor Bobby Miner, who's a dear friend, a pastor in Fort Worth, Texas. And Brother Bobby, tell us about our show today.
Well, Dr. Reyes, I'm excited because today we're going to be talking about how to prepare your pastor, your parents, and your students to succeed in college.
That's an important piece of information. So we're actually going to give students and parents tips on how to get ready for college and how to be successful in college.
Absolutely, and it's important because you think about it, many of these students today, they may be the first person in their family to go to college, and so there's no instruction or wisdom to be passed down on how to succeed, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, well, college can be scary. And I know I wasn't ready. I mean, every time I went to college, I wasn't ready. And so we want your students to be ready. We want to help you get them ready. And so we're happy today to have our guest, whose name is Robert Rueda. He's a director of the Baptist Student Ministry at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. And Robert's job is to help students be successful and to help them to get close to Jesus. So, Brother Bobby, what questions do you have for Brother Robert? Welcome, Brother Robert.
Yeah, no, welcome. And let's just start off by asking you, what challenges did you face as a student in college?
Well, first, thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be here with you all. Well, as a college student, I faced a lot of challenges. Some of them were academic, learning to navigate the world of college. It is a world. You need to learn how to navigate it. You need to learn a little bit of the culture of the campus, the way the campus works. Academic deadlines are important. So that was a big challenge for me, is to learn that. I also had some emotional challenges because it's very stressful. Sometimes if you're the first one to go, you don't know exactly what you're going to do, and you feel very stressed, added to the already stressful deadlines and exams and trying to keep up. And of course, I had some financial challenges as well, but through it all, I just found the Lord to be faithful. He always took care of me.
So financial challenges, emotional challenges, schedule challenges, deadlines, far away from parents.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about somebody who really needs to get close to Jesus.
Yeah, and that's the other challenge that I had, was the spiritual challenge, is finding myself on a campus, sometimes being the only believer there, and just realizing, okay, how do I live out my faith? And how do I approach my college life in a successful way, but also in a God-honoring way?
Well, you know, as you think about those challenges, and which particular challenge that you recall that you just saw God help you overcome, does one stand out to you?
Well, the one that stands out to me is one time I got out of class late. I had to go home. I didn't have any money, and I only had a coin that was what I was going to use to pay for my bus fare. And for some reason, I decided to flip the coin, and I didn't catch it, and it fell, and it went down the drain.
Oh, my goodness.
And I found myself not able to get on a bus, and I had to walk 2.5 hours back home.
Wow.
And during that time, it was a beginning walk of feeling like sad for my life, and ended up in praise. The Lord just taught me through the walk is realizing I'm with you, and whether you're poor, I'm with you, and I'm going to help you navigate college, and you're going to make it.
Amen.
That's amazing. So what are some things, maybe 2 or 3 things that you see today that students that are successfully navigating the challenges of college, what are 2 or 3 things that really stand out to you that say, these are the things that I see these students do that other students don't do that are helping lead them to a more successful path?
Yeah, the first thing as a campus pastor, as I always try to identify what a successful student is, because a successful student is not necessarily someone that will just go and learn everything about academics. I think being a successful student, in my experience, in my opinion, is to be able to maximize the college experience, is being able to know that you're there, not just to learn something academically, but to become someone. So I think it is important for me to always encourage students to know, okay, if you're going to be successful, it's also about who you're becoming. So you need to pay attention to that. And then what I've seen students do that makes them successful is, first of all, they connect with a group. They are community oriented. They're never alone. They find someone, especially if it's your first time going to college. You're going to need 2 or 3 friends that will tell you, hey, did you find out about this scholarship? Did you know about this? So that's why the first thing is connect with 2 or 3 peers that you know share your same goal of succeeding in college, and go there. The other thing that I see students do is that they don't get distracted. Now, obviously, to a college student, that sounds like, wait, I am distracted all the time. But I'm talking major distraction that will derail you completely from where you're at. Obviously, it's okay to be on that train track and just look at things and just wave at them and just pay some attention to that, but not to the extent that you will completely derail your college career. So that's another thing that successful students do.
Well, I heard you say that you want to have friends, but not just any friends. You mentioned friends who were in the know. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you, for example, it's all about who you hang out with in college. And I can honestly say I've met a lot of freshman students. I am with college students every single day for the past 13 years. I met freshman students that start with the greatest of goals, which is to succeed in college, to make it work, to succeed. And then by the time I see them next semester, they're completely derailed.
Wow.
Some of them start hanging out with the gaming club, and all they spend their time is just gaming, gaming, gaming. But I've seen students that they start hanging out with people that say, okay, I am going to succeed in college as well. And they form study groups, they encourage each other, they keep each other accountable, and they keep an eye on each other. So that's what I mean with who you hang out with.
That's important. So as a parent, what am I looking for? How do I help my son or daughter without infringing on their adultness, if you will, and their college experience? How can I help them? What would you have to say to me as a mom or dad or as a pastor and the student's far away, and I'm concerned that they're gaming or spending all their time, at the student union building playing ping pong or something?
Yeah, well, parents, I think the best things they can do is, first of all, to trust the student, to give them an opportunity to go to college and find their way, and not just be overly involved doing everything for them, but just to trust the student and let them navigate the college life, and because there is help. And that's the other thing that parents can do for their students is teach your kids to ask for help. It is perfectly okay. There's always somebody willing to help you.
Good.
One of the things that I always encountered was you're in college, you see a professor, he has a doctorate degree, highly knowledgeable, and then you feel like you have this question that he's probably going to laugh about, right?
Right.
And then, but if you trust yourself and go up to the professor, you'll find that most professors are welcoming and they have office hours and they will be glad to answer that question, to help you navigate. So it is all about learning to ask for help.
I think that's great. Building a bridge to professor, building a bridge to other peer students who seem to be having success, maybe even to seniors or juniors or to a campus pastor like yourself. But being able to do that, I think if moms and dads are listening, I'd really encourage them to talk to their students and encourage them to build those bridges. Important point there, really good.
Yeah. Well, let's even back up, because I think that's a great question, Dr. Reyes. But let's back up. What can that parent or pastor say to the college student to help prepare them before they even make the journey to college?
That's a good question.
Well, the first thing is to remind them, one of the things that I think students need to hear is, I am proud of you. They need to know that they're proud of them as a congregation, especially if it's their first time college student, or if you don't see a lot of college students from your church that go to college. Pass that student, invite the student to the front, pray over him, say, hey, we're so proud of you. And not to put a lot of pressure on him, because what it is college is very performance driven. And a lot of our students come with this anxiety to perform. Sure. So what they need to do from the beginning is to know, hey, somebody's proud of me, and they're praying for me, and they're standing behind me. And it is okay for me to venture into college, knowing that I have a congregation, a family that is behind me.
Wow.
What's one skill that you would say that every incoming freshman needs to, if they don't already have this skill, they need to acquire this skill to help get them started on a path to success?
That's a great question. Good.
Well, if you would say
two in a row.
students,
That's two in a row, yeah.
well, there's two things.
Yeah.
We do this activity on campus where we go every single day and we do this thing called solarium cards. Solarium cards is a way for us to talk to students. So we lay them on a table or on the ground and we ask students always the same questions. Is pick a picture that best represents how you're feeling right now.
Oh, that's
and
good.
the one that they always pick is, for the most part, is the one where it's with clocks. So because they're having to deal with time management and
Yeah,
they
right.
feel that everything is just coming their way. So I think that's a very good skill. And I think we need to teach our students that it's not necessarily about keeping an agenda and having everything written down. It's about finding what works for you. Be a good time management person and be able to find your own rhythm that will help you get things done. And the other thing is also, like the other picture that students pick out most of the time is a person in the middle of a subway surrounded by people. And when you ask them, why did you pick that one? And they said, oh, it's because I feel lonely. Even though they're in the middle of, like our campus has 25,000 students.
Wow.
And to me, it's amazing that students are surrounded and they feel lonely. And the reason for that is just building community, I think.
Wow.
It's important. That's another important skill.
So surrounded by people, lonely. I think about college, I think you have all this time, but you're telling me that college students feel like they're hemmed in by all this, the clocks and the pressure, et cetera. And, you know, you're giving us some good things that we need to be praying about
Yes.
for students. You know, so moms and dads, you know, pastors, we need to be praying for students as they consider how to manage their time and how to select friends and how to live with that isolation. I think that's a great challenge. That's a good word.
Yeah, and probably something else that we need to pray about, and I want to hear you speak to, is what do they need to do in college to stay close to God? Because we hear stories all the time of these students that when they were in high school and youth, they were on fire for God. And
Good
then,
word.
And then
Yep.
they get to the college
Great.
campus, especially if they're not going to a Christian college or Christian university. And,
Yes.
And, you know, they just completely fall away from the faith.
Yeah, I always tell students this, is you're going to have to make a decision as a believer whether you're going to be a student or a Christian college student. If you decide to be a college student, then syllabus is your guide and just go at it and be successful. The other thing, if you want to be a Christian college student, that changes everything.
Okay.
Because you are called to be the light and you are called to stay close to God and you're called to remain faithful to your principles. So I think it is important that students know that there are groups on campus in most campuses where you can go and join a group, and that will also immediately connect you to a community of people. Wow. So find a group on campus that it's a Christian. Usually most colleges have on their websites, they have a link that says student organizations, and then you can select your interest and you can put faith, Christian, and then you will be able to find all the Christian groups in your organization, in your university, and then join them. And that will immediately bring you community, and you may even find your future spouse there. Who knows?
Well, what you're saying is that they got to college, that wasn't accidental.
Right.
So finding Christian friends is not going to be accidental. And identifying with a Christian group where they can be spiritually fed and where I love what you said, they can be light. You know, Dr. Sam Rodriguez has a theme when he preaches, and he talks about being light and how we should all be light wherever we are. And so that's a powerful message. And I'm so thankful that you brought that up and helped us to remember the importance of the fact that we are ambassadors for Christ on the college campus. And so you're offering encouragement to moms and dads, you're offering encouragement to students. I hear you saying this is not an accident. This is something you do with intentional thoughts, intentionality. You actually go do this, you go with purpose. I love that word.
Yeah, we tell students, hey, when you're in the university, not also are to be in your Christian club and be enclosed, but also you're to be a person of impact, to be someone that is in your university making a difference and changing the perspective that most people have of Christians. And then they find this Christian that is highly interested in what is happening in the world. They're highly interested in engaging them right where they're at. And then they learn to navigate life. And when they graduate, the way we see our students is today they're young college students, but tomorrow we want them to be young professionals committed to God and committed to His church. And in order to do that, they need to be able to learn how to interact with the world.
It's good word.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you know, what I'm hearing is you can be light on the college campus. you can be an ambassador for Christ. You can be the difference as a witness for Jesus Christ on the college campus. And that's a good word for moms and dads to hear. Pastors need to hear that as well. That's a good word. And so I'm thankful for what you've shared with us. We're going to take a minute now and we're going to listen and watch a video that talks about helps for parents and students. And so as you are having students around you, you might want to invite them over to come and watch this video because we want you to get a blessing with this cool